I upload daily NBA content to this channel, so if that is something that interests you, then subscribe. Also drop a like on this video. It only takes 1 second and makes a massive difference. Also real quick, my second channel is about 700 or so subscribers away from 15K, and I wanted to hit that by the end of the year. So if you could go subscribe over there, I would really appreciate it. But with that out of the way, today I am talking about something that I've always felt was an interesting conversation, but really came up lately in the past couple of videos. It's really the conversation of where are we drawing the lines for categories of players. And I know the title is about superstars, but I'm going to go over every category. Superstars, all-stars, stars, role players, Cameron Payne, which means bad players that eventually become good. I don't know why I mentioned Cameron Payne. Why was he trash on the Bulls and he's just good now? Anyways, so I just want to draw the lines for where I believe the definition for all these categories should be, and like how I rank players in the league, because I think it's pretty different for everybody. Maybe they're vaguely similar, but there's people who have different definitions, people who have stronger barriers for a superstar, people who have weaker ones. So let's just talk about that. So, to me, my definition of a superstar is a player who can be the #1 player on a championship team. Now, this does not mean that this player has to have proven that by winning a championship, because there are players that I would consider superstars who have yet to have actually proved that. But basically, in my head, for ranking this player, I have to believe, yeah, this can be the guy on a championship team. I feel like a lot of people will hold back on giving that title to someone if they haven't proven that yet, and I understand that to a degree, but to me it's just like, I can tell this player is good enough to be on that level, so I consider them on that level. I don't think there's a reason to put it on a waiting list. So the players that I would consider in that category, and this is unscripted, so if I miss a name, I miss a name: Kawhi, LeBron, Giannis, Steph, James Harden, Anthony Davis, and then after those guys, unless I'm missing someone, Kevin Durant, he's in there. After those guys, though, I'm not missing anybody, right? I think I have like 3 guys that are on the cusp of, or like right borderline between the star and the superstar, and those 3 are the guys on the thumbnail: Jimmy Butler, Damian Lillard, and Nikola Jokic. All 3 of them, I believe, are capable of being a #1 on a championship team. The only issue is I feel like they're a lot less capable than the guys that I have ranked above them. So it's like, yeah, they still qualify as superstars, but they're not the upper echelon of players that I would consider in the superstar category. There are other people who have the definition of a superstar where there's like 20 of them in the league. And like the other day, Chris Webber said that he thought Chris Middleton could ascend into being a superstar, which by my definition, no he cannot, unless something crazy happens, because the guy's like 30, so I doubt it. I think the definition of superstar should be pretty strict. My definition of a superstar is obviously pretty strict. I consider there to be like 10 to 11 of them in the league. There's people, like I've seen posts where people say there's like, oh, there's 15 superstars in the NBA today. It wasn't like that back in the 90s. MJ had it easy, but it's like, there are not 15 superstars in the NBA today, so no. But that's kind of what I think about superstars. The next category to me is all-stars. So for me, it goes role player, star, all-star, superstar. And I imagine that's going to confuse a couple of people, but I'll make it clear. So all-star, I think it's pretty simple. You're an all-star. Hey now. Oh, man. Why are you subscribed to this channel? Anyways, fucking hell. Why did I make that joke? All-star, I mean, if you're just a one-time all-star like a D'Angelo Russell, and it was honestly like a barely made the all-star team, I'm not gonna continue to hold you to that label. But if you're consistently making all-star teams, or you're at least consistently making it or being very close in the conversation, then I'll put you in that category, generally speaking. Although sometimes there are players who make all-star teams that I think are overrated, so I might drop them lower in my head. But just like in the list in my head, I have category of all-star, and that's in between star and superstar. So the all-stars are in between the worst player that I would consider a star and then LeBron James. So obviously, I consider star to be a category below all-star. So there are players that I would categorize as star level players that don't make all-star teams. And the reason that I'm bringing this conversation up specifically is because I did a video at 2K Talk the other day where I said, where the title was like 5 stars who could be traded this season, and in the thumbnail was LaMarcus Aldridge, John Collins, and Zach LaVine. All of those are players that I would consider to be stars. And a couple of the comments in that video were like, these guys are not star players. So I feel like my definition of a star is a lot less limiting than my definition of a superstar. So like Zach LaVine, I consider that guy to be a star because I feel like it's odd to call him a role player. Same goes for LaMarcus Aldridge. John Collins, I feel like there's an argument to be made that he hasn't quite established himself there, which is fair enough. But like, if John Collins is what I think he is, then that's a guy that I'd consider a star. It's a rough benchmark and it's subject to change depending on the player, but vaguely speaking, if you're going to average around 20 points per game and you're doing it creating a good amount of the offense yourself, then I'm going to at least consider you close to that star level category. There are players who are like Danilo Gallinari or Evan Fournier who average like 18 points, and I wouldn't really put them in that category. But at the same time, I think those guys are too good to really call role players. So I almost feel like there's a category between stars and role players as well that's like, well, this guy's not quite reaching the star level, but oh shit, my camera died, so if it's cropped weird, it's not my fault. As I was saying, it feels like there's also a category between star and role player, and I don't really have a word for it, and I find it hard to label the players that I would say fit into that category, but that's a thing as well. And then role players, we know what those are. And then there's like fringe rotation players and then garbage players. So that's just kind of my like categories for NBA players. This video might not seem necessary, but really I want it to be a benchmark for when I'm talking about NBA players. When I say this player is a star, this player is a superstar, an all-star kind of guy, I just wanted to let it be known like where I'm actually thinking these players are ranked when I'm using those vague terms, because there's no actual set definition for these things. It's just terms that we throw around. So yeah, like there's no definition in the NBA handbook that says this is what a superstar is. And I see people use the definition. I see people have their own definition of it, and it makes conversations often confusing because there'll be people who get offended if you don't call Joel Embiid a superstar. And it's like, no, I just think he's one of the top all-star kind of guys out there. Like one of the best that's not quite a superstar. So yeah, I think I've made my point clear. And now that I've gotten that out of the way, I wanted to use this video also as a way to just do a thank you for the end of this year. I'm going to say something that no one else has said this year. 2020 was bad. Did you know that? Did you guys know that this year sucked? You might not have heard that already. 2020 sucked fucking dick for a long laundry list of reasons for a majority of people. And sure, there were things that were negative for me this year, but generally, individually, and because I unfortunately have empathy, I'm still walking away from this year negatively because of other people. But for me individually, this year has been an incredible net positive. In terms of the growth of this channel, it has been the best by far. I doubled my channel size this year. I just have to thank you guys for sticking around and watching these videos. I have kind of a rude attitude sometimes, and sometimes I like joke and insult you guys, but I appreciate you for watching these videos, genuinely. My dream, well, my first dream was to make it the NBA, but that one got scrapped as soon as I had a 7-inch vertical. But my dream after that was to be able to talk about basketball for a living. And thanks to you guys watching these videos, I'm actually going to be able to do that. And I have done that this year. And that's just amazing. And regardless of what happens in the future, even if this ended up falling through, the fact that I was able to do this for a career for even a little bit is fucking awesome. So if you're watching my videos consistently, I really appreciate that. Also, just to say some nice things. Again, I shouted out Mojo and Noah. If you want to go check those guys out again, do it. And Rudy, I really appreciate him. We have some fun stuff coming up with the podcast, and he's done a great job editing my videos. And Initially, when I hired him to do full-time edits, I was like, I am not expecting much to change here, but he added his own personality to these videos, started making me blue for some reason, and now that's become a huge part of these videos. So I appreciate you, Rudy. If you guys were listening to that, that was a private conversation between me and Rudy, so that was kind of rude if you were listening in on that. Yeah, that's just what I wanted to say at the end of this video. That's kind of my stuff on what I think a superstar, all-star, star, all that stuff is. Again, go check out my NBA channel. I love doing videos over there as well, so if you could support that, I would very much appreciate it. But yeah, that's it. That's the end of this video. Please be sure to like and subscribe for more NBA content like this, and cue the outro music.